All right, everybody, welcome back. Hey, I talked to you in the last video about the right way to learn how to improvise, and I said I'd be coming back to you with three videos. I've broken it down into three major skill sets that you need to have to improvise properly, to really learn how to improvise, get the job done, right? You know what I'm talking about. Because you are a student of improvisation on whatever instrument, by the way. What we're going to talk about in the next couple of videos applies to any instrument. These are just basic principles here. But just a word about production. First of all, it's hotter than absolute HELL here in SoCal, and we are sweltering. So I waited till nighttime to do this video to cool down just a little bit here. So bear with me if I start this chevet, okay? I've got this written down. I scripted it out because it's that important, and I want to make sure that I'm very clear with you that there's no production value here. There's no crawl, there's no script, there's nothing that floats by on the screen. I don't have any funny asides or clips or B-roll or any of that. And I applaud the people who put all that time into editing and making those videos. I find them so entertaining to watch, but I don't do that. I want to be raw, I want to be in your face, I want to be close, I want to be just like we're in the same room talking and maybe like having a lesson. So anyway, let's get into this, okay? It's going to be kind of a long one, but like I said, I've scripted it. I'm not playing the horn on this one, I'm just talking about it. This is the first session, the first stop along the way in how to properly learn the right way to learn how to improvise. Here we go. There are three skill sets. Three. I've broken it down into three, and there's going to be one video on each, all right? Three skill sets that you need to know, and pardon me for reading from my notes, but like I said, I don't want to ramble, and this is important stuff. You want to get this right, and I want to get it to you right. Three skill sets that you need in order to improvise on your horn. They're not particularly fancy, nor are they easy. I'll give you that, okay? But they are essential, right? And they're rarely, if ever, discussed. That part amazes me, and you'll see why in a minute. Best of all, the material makes sense, right? And you can perfect each and every one of these three skill sets with stuff that you already own, right? What you don't need is a new mouthpiece. You don't need new reeds. You don't need a better horn. You don't need to go out and buy more backing tracks or invest in more theory books or buy more PDFs or online lessons or books or anything. What you do need is time, all right? Time is your best friend here. You need some consistency, right? You need to show up, all right? And the willingness to kind of suck mildly at this, all right, as you start to get better at these skills. In the beginning, what I'm going to show you is not necessarily, well, today's lesson, today's introductory session here is technically, it's kind of easy, but nobody does it anymore. So therefore, I'm going to assume it's hard. But I digress. Let's agree on what improvising a solo actually is. Let's get the definition down, okay? What I'm about to tell you is key to your success, understanding what improvising really is. You might want to write this down. Improvising is the art of composing a melody on the fly, on the spot, in the moment, okay? The song itself is your roadmap. Using cues, say, from the song's melody and the harmony, right, the chord structure that supports the melody, along with common musical phrases that we borrow from the language of music, this nonverbal language that we're learning, and tools that we acquire along the way, such as, let's just say, arpeggios, scale patterns, licks that we transcribe from other musicians, other players, and so on. These are the tools that we have that we bring to the table, and that's what an improviser composes with in the situation of a solo break in a song, all right? What a successful improviser does not do is go into a session with no ideas. Just start playing. Here, my solo comes up I get just to start playing. And I'm going to hope for that big lightning bolt of inspiration, bam, to come out of the sky and bless me with a bunch of, no. That isn't how it works. It doesn't work well that way. Nope, don't do that. All of us who do this and have learned properly, the proper tools, come we come to the gig with the stuff that we've spent just those long hours and days and weeks and months practicing. There's no mystery here. We improvise with tools that we already have. And as Dave Liebman, amazing player, once said, and I paraphrase, you can't play what you haven't practiced, okay? So we all bring this stuff. We bring this stuff with us. But even more important is we all have an idea of how we're going to launch, what we're going to do, how we're going to get into this thing, how we're going to move around a little bit, and how we're going to get back out of it, okay? The above works, by the way, for every genre. It doesn't matter. I'm talking, it doesn't have to be jazz, could be blues, could be rock, funk, soul, gospel, polka music. I don't care what. Nothing wrong with polka, by the way. The way I said that, I don't want you to think I've implied that polka music has a lesser place on the scale of music. No, polka's cool. Anyway, there are two prerequisites that I have. I must say now, I'm going to put this out there for this three-part series, okay? And naturally, I'm not checking up on you. Nobody is, right? You're doing this on your own. But there are these prerequisites, and one is that you got to be fluid in all 12 major scales. All right, be fluid. Be fluid. If you got rust in any of them, fix that rust. If you don't know your majors, stop. Turn this off. Cut it. Go away. Tear yourself away from the screen. And go learn your major scales. All right, take whatever time you need and come back and learn them slow. Get your metronome out, set it to 40, 60, 65, 70, say whatever. Get your major scales cooking, all 12 of them. All right, up and down, backwards, forwards, intervals. Make them super clean. Repetition is your superpower. All right, why am I putting so much weight on the major scales? Because they're the mothership, my friends. Every other scale derives from the majors. So once you've learned your major scales, you got it down. You're good to go here, right? It's so much easier to learn minors after you got your majors. Everything, augmented, diminished, you name it, it all comes out of major scales. Melodies, songs, you'll begin to see the beauty of having learned all your major scales, plus the agility that you acquire on your instrument from knowing those scales, okay? All right, best to learn them by ear, by the way, and not off the page. Throw your pages away, learn them by ear. Get you a circle fifths or fourths or whatever, organize them that way, okay? All right, know them cold. If you don't know them, once again, and you're moderately serious about, becoming an improviser, stop. Go learn them. Come back to this later, all right? Second prerequisite, and this is heavyweight too, is to have people to practice these ideas with. Now, this can be as simple as a keyboard player, guitar player, bass player, or a combination of all three, maybe even a drummer, okay? You don't have to put a band together, but sometimes that is what comes out of this idea. Practice buddies, though, at any rate, in any combination, in any instrumentation, it's mandatory. You got to do this, right? Playing along to a backing track is absolutely not the way that you're going to learn how to improvise, right? There's absolutely no pressure. You can push the button if you flub, if you blow clams, or if you mess up or whatever, and plus the backing track band isn't playing with you. They're not supporting you. It's just this thing, this endless loop, and it's kind of like Groundhog Day. And you get stuck in this endless loop and it keeps going. So at any rate, get real people to play with, okay? Now, where do you find these kinds of musicians? Isn't that a good question? Over the years, I've learned that Craigslist is not a place where I've had much good luck. Some people have. I have not. Posting on social media, your social media channels, you might get good results, right? But in my experience, the best practice buddies I've managed to find have come through referrals, okay? Call your local music teachers. Call music teachers. Call your community college. Your high school band directors, depending on your age, of course, and be clear about who you are, what your skill level is, what genre you're playing, maybe even, offer up some song titles and what you're looking to accomplish, right? This is a no-pay gig. I just need someone to get together and practice these things with, and preferably, once a week. Tell them if you can host or travel, one way or the other. Teachers will always know who to refer you to. They always have students in the same boat looking for someone, and you'll find that, that might be an easy way to put this together. Okay, I gotta hurry. It's getting dark. Anyway, think about it. You want to play along with people. That's how you learn. You get so much better at just working out with somebody else. There's that dual energy. There's the rhythmic issues that you'll learn so much more by playing with somebody than you will in the privacy of your own home, sitting in front of your computer screen, which I'm going to want to tear you away from in just a minute here. So let's get to the first lesson here. Here begins session 1. In order to be a good improviser, I can feel the suspense mounting. You're thinking, what's he going to say? In order to be a good improviser, lesson 1, you've got to be a good listener. In fact, no, you've got to be a great listener, okay? Meaning you have to listen, and listen to music all the time, as often as you can. And even better if you grew up in a house where music was played all the time. I don't care what kind of music, but if you've got an improviser improvising in jazz or whatever, if you're studying improvising with anybody right now and they're not telling you this, you need to get a new teacher, okay? Listening is key. Think about it. How'd you learn to speak? You listened, right? You were constantly, it was full immersion when you were a baby. What could be more full immersion than being a baby in a house full of people talking? You picked it up and eventually you started to mimic people. Think about this. This is the process. By the age of what, 2, 3, you could get all of your needs met using your language, right? That's how you did it. Full immersion, all right? You listen constantly. Eventually you begin to repeat. And you made it happen, all right? And now, you got it dialed in. You speak English. You speak whatever language you know. You speak that language. You speak it with a great fluency. And technically, you improvise sentences. You don't really think so much about what you're going to, say. I mean, there's a conversation, there's an outline, but, you're really not thinking about, participles and verbs and nouns and all. You're flowing with the tools that you've acquired over the years. Learning to improvise is a whole lot of the same thing, okay? The best musicians I've played music with over the years had music going on in their childhood homes. I mean, they grew up with parents, who maybe didn't play an instrument, but played the record player, okay? And that was in my house. My parents played the record player constantly. And they controlled the music, but, it didn't matter. Like I said, whatever. It doesn't matter what you listen to as long as you're listening to music, right? And in the process, we internalized how music works. Now, we didn't know this, but we listened to so many records and so many artists over so many years that we internalized how music works, meaning rhythm, tempo, chord progressions, resolution, conflict, right? All of that is stuff that we internalize. Now, we couldn't necessarily go out and teach a music theory class, right? But what we did get was fluency in the language of music, all right? We got fluent in the language of music without even knowing it. And here's the kicker. This is how we learn to play songs. This is how we all learned to play songs. And we learned that music and taught it to each other. Exactly. Guitar players taught me the melodies in almost every band I was in, or other sax players or other instruments, right? We all taught each other, hey, there's a great song, here's how it goes. That's how we did it, okay? And we did it from massive amounts of listening. All right, so this is lesson 1. In order to step into improvising, you've got to listen to music, right? Any kind of music. If you're a jazz head, you don't have to listen to jazz. You can listen to any genre. Just listen. It costs you nothing. You stand to gain absolutely everything. Now, it seems counterintuitive, and this is why I think, listening must be hard because nobody does anymore. There are those among us who want to play music but aren't actually listening to music. I can't explain that away. but you have the power to change it by making equal time. So set aside, look, I'm going to practice for an hour today, but 10 minutes of that I'm going to listen, okay? So I like that, okay? And I mean, once again, when I say listen to everything, I mean listen to everything. Listen to Robert Johnson, listen to Lawrence Welk, listen to Bob Wills and the Texas Playboy, to Prince, Bach, plenty of Bach. Listen to Harry Belafonte, oh my gosh, Metallica, Billie Holiday, the Beach Boys, the Beatles, Vince Gill, Charlie Parker, Joni Mitchell, right? So listen, tear it off now. Push the stop button here, and I want you to go and listen. Well, heck, we're on YouTube. Just when we're done here, you go find dial up something, and listen. Give yourself a good 10 minutes of listening, okay? This simple and overlooked act will have a profound effect on your improvising. All right, that's all I got for tonight. Questions? Reach me at davegoodsax@gmail.com. Okay, I'm out of here. Take care. See you again.